Okay, happy Friday, everybody. I appreciate you signing up and attending our Data and Reporting Webinar 101, part of our weekly series of topics that are meant to inform and educate folks out there about ERPs and various topics that are important to running your business. We'll get started. This is being recorded, so if anybody rolls in late, we can email the recording out to you, and certainly anybody attending will also get a recording in case you want to pass it along to some colleagues. One housekeeping item, we do have the ability for you to ask questions during the session or at the end. If you do have a question, you can type it into the chat, and I will either answer it in line if it's relevant to where I am or later on in the presentation. So without further ado, let's get started. We try to get these done in about 15 minutes or so. So it's meant to be just kind of an informational snack that you can use. And then you're certainly welcome to reach out at some point for more info. Data and reporting, why does it matter? I think it's pretty obvious to most companies, especially ones that don't have it, that want it. Bad data, bad reporting leads to uninformed decisions, bad decisions, missed opportunities. You don't have visibility into your business. So on a daily basis, you're constantly doing inventory checks or um, asking somebody what's going on in the business. Where if you have good reporting and data that's available at your fingertips, you constantly have the ability to make decisions that impact your business on a daily basis. If you don't have good data and reporting, you're probably going to end up having to pay someone to consolidate information from various sources within your business, from spreadsheets, paper, people, and consolidate all of that information. Whereas with an ERP, all of that will be at your fingertips. Um, Wasted time, of course, and then the worst thing, inventory and supply chain chaos. You're ordering too much, you don't have enough on hand, you can't fulfill orders because you haven't produced the material that you need. All sorts of bad things can happen. Um, on the good side, if you have good data, it's informed decision making. Your organization's nimble, you have accountability, great marketing benefit, and efficient inventory management. Um, Got a quick question here. Is training available to read and how to interpret data? Um, we'll go into that a little bit, but basically we'll go into various types of reports, what they mean, and how they can be used to make decisions in the business. So this is kind of, we'll kind of go into that as we go through the presentation here. The role of an ERP. So an ERP is touching all parts of your business, from ordering materials to making things, your customer orders, your purchase orders out to vendors. All of those things are happening within the ERP, and so that data is centralized. And because of that, the system should have the ability to produce reports of any kind, whether it be on the purchasing end, the supply chain end, the customer end, all of those things, inventory, all of those things are available in an ERP and can be reported on very quickly. You've got audit trails from an accounting or compliance standpoint, costing of products. So one of the main challenges that a lot of our customers that I talk to have is they have no idea how much it costs them to make their products. When you're using an ERP, we're capturing all of that costs, the raw material costs. You can put labor in, overhead, things like that. And if you're making 20 products, the system is automatically calculating every time you make them how much it costs you to make them. So that's one of kind of the main advantages of an ERP. Of course, we already talked about cross-departmental and then some data analysis. So without further ado, we'll hop into Wherefour here quickly and take a look at the various types of reports that are available. And there's certainly more than I'll be able to go over today. But the first type of reporting is dashboarding. So dashboarding is in our system is available when you log in. It's customizable via our widget editor here, so you can add different types of reports and things like that to the system. But dashboarding is when you want information to be available at your fingertips because it's information that you might use on a daily basis to make decisions in your business. So, for example, here we can take a quick check of inventory levels in the system. But sometimes that doesn't mean anything unless we know how many orders are in the system. So we have a dashboard widget for fulfillment position, which is basically inventory I have on hand less the orders I have in house. So it's showing me inventory position after I've shipped all my orders. So basically, we've got a couple of items that have great inventory positions, and then we have a couple items here that are actually negative by 150, meaning I need to make some product, and this one's negative by 88. And then these other two are getting very low, and so I probably need to schedule some production. So from a planning and operational standpoint, it really is nice to have a dashboard where you can get information that you want. If I scroll down here, some sales activity, low stock alerts. So this is saying basically this carrot root extract, it's color coded orange in the system, meaning it's dropped below a reorder point that that we've set in the system. And so that's basically dashboarding in a nutshell. So again, to recap, dashboarding is to set these up for information that you want to be able to access very quickly to affect decisions that you're making on a daily basis. And so the rest of this I'm going to break up into kind of two phases. One of them is planning, meaning forward looking, and the other one is running historical reports showing me what happened in the past, and so I can evaluate what happened in the past, how I can make improvements, and that sort of thing. So, a few things. One of the items that I'll hit on is our MRP, which is a material resource plan, and basically we put that in our production area as opposed to the reporting area because it is so important in the operational process of the business. It's actually in an operational module in our system, and so basically you've got a forecast or orders in the system, and what the MRP is going to do is we've set this one over 4 weeks, so it's going to go 4 weeks out into the future and show us inventory flow of finished goods and inventory flow of raw materials based on production we have scheduled, our customer forecast, as well as actual orders that we have in house. So when we take a look at this, I'm going to first toggle off the raw material side and look at the items that we produce in the system. And this is basically showing us we've got a finished good here. This happens to be a cosmetics company. This works the same for food. It works the same for beverage. It's just inventory. And so it's looking at this and basically saying right now I have 1,800 units in stock. I've got future forecast for another 100, meaning I'm expecting orders this week for another 100 units. I actually have orders for about 1,700 units. So by the end of the week, I'm only going to have 18 units in stock. So this is telling me next week I've got a forecast for another 100 orders and so on and so forth. So it's showing me I need to make at least 82 of these finished goods, or otherwise I'm not going to have enough on hand to fill predicted orders for next week. So, and this can look across your entire product line or a subset of your product line. This is showing us that we need to schedule uh, immediately. We've actually got more orders in house than we have on hand, so we need to schedule some production to get these orders out the door to maintain good customer service. So, from a finished good production standpoint, this is what we need to make. Just as importantly is what do we need to have in house in order to make those items? So I'm going to toggle off the production side and look at my raw material side. And this is showing us all the raw materials required to make the products that I have in my forecast. And if I look down here, this is all green, so I've got plenty of material. You can see there's some usage of materials and work orders that are scheduled in the system. But if I scroll down here, I do have an item here, that carrot root extract that we saw on my low stock alert dashboard. Remember, we had 14 ounces of this in stock. Well, I need to make, I have a production scheduled that's going to consume 45 ounces of this next week. And so this is saying I need to create a purchase order to order at least 31 ounces. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to run production next week. And then operationally, we can build into this the ability to order it. So if I check this box here and scroll down, I'm actually going to be able to, and I can do this for all of the items, I can actually create a purchase order that's going to queue up a PO to my preferred vendor for that product. So again, that's a planning, forward-looking reporting capability. I'm going to go hop back for the rest of this. I'll hop back into our reporting area and I'm going to talk about a couple more forward-looking or planning items. We've got the low stock alert report, which is basically going to show us a report of everything that is below our reorder point or out of stock. So in this example, I've got three items. That carrot root extract keeps popping up everywhere. That's because it's below our reorder point and we need some to run production next week. It's going to show us what do we have on hand, what's our reorder point, meaning what do I never, when I drop below that, I want the system to alert me. In our system, it'll show up in a report, can show up on a dashboard, can send you a reminder email. And then it's also going to show us lead time for the product. So I need this next week for production. I've got a lead time of 5 days. And so the soonest I can get it is by 6/18. So I really need to order some of this in right now to get it in for next week. And then we've got a couple of other items that are below the reorder point. Actual inventory, and I can do this in a couple of ways. You can run an on-hand report. We can also in real time look into the inventory module. So let's say I'm placing a real world scenario. I'm placing a packaging order and I want to look at what are my packaging items and do I have, if I scroll down this, I see that none of these are orange, meaning none of them have dropped below a reorder point. And if I scroll down in here, looks like all of these are well above a reorder point. So again, we have the ability to look at inventory in real time and see what we might need to order. And then lastly, the last one I'll go through from a planning standpoint is on the fulfillment end. And this is basically going to show us what orders do I have in house for my products. So here's a face fax, which is a cream, smaller size, packaging size, another personal care product, some lip balm, basically showing us we've got orders for all of these products in house. They're going to aggregate up in this example to 200. I have 400 on hand, so even after I ship this product, I'm still going to have 200 left. And then from a forward-looking standpoint, this is the revenue or invoicing I'm going to be able to do once I ship these products out. So you can quickly see here, in total, I've got $110,000 worth of backlog orders in the system that once I ship out, I can invoice those. So you can kind of look at your cash flow moving forward. And then we've also got a couple of items here where we have orders, uh, 200, one order for 200 units. I only have 112 in stock, so I need to make at least 88 of these to fill this order. If I partially ship this out, meaning I shipped out the 112, that would be indicated on this report, and it would show me that I still had 88 left to ship. So it would have a quantity remaining on that order if you're a company that does partially ship out orders. So that is our forward-looking, our planning. And then I'm going to look at a couple of historical reports to kind of give you a sense of the data you can get out of a good ERP system. Um, I'll look first in our costing area and at a cost of goods manufactured, meaning what is the cost of all of the products I've made over, in this example, in the last 30 days from 5/14 to 6/13. And if I run this, I can basically go in here and see that I made 110 ounces of this product at a total cost of $20, 530 ounces of this at a cost of $161. And then it's going to show us on the finished goods side, I made 640 units of this at a cost of $221. So basically 30 cents a unit for that. So again, it's going to show us the cost of all the products we made over a period of time so that we can get a per unit cost of that product. Again, one of the more challenging things to do for a company, the more products you make, the harder it is to track this. If you were to do this manually, you'd have to go in, look at all your purchases, get those numbers, look at how much of each you use to make every product, add all that stuff up with packaging and labor and all that, where our system is doing that automatically for you. Um, Second one we'll look at is the order report, which is basically my customer orders over a period of time. And within our system, you have the ability very easily to do it by channel. I want to look at wholesale orders, or I want to look specifically at a specific category of products, or I want to look at my, a specific customer and run a report for that specific customer over a month in case I'm having a meeting with them. Um, and so I can run these reports very easily, and it's going to aggregate all my customer information. So I've got, for Chelsea Salon, I had these orders for a total of these amount of units and my total sales for this particular customer over the course of that period of time. And then the unit price that we sold each each order for within that time frame. And then the last one I'm going to wrap up with is I'm a big numbers geek. It's one of my favorite capabilities within Wherefour, and it's the ability to look at every single line item of every order and tell you whether or not you made money on it. In the end, we're in business to make money, and this is going to show us when I run this report. It's going to go line by line by line and say, on this sales order to Kiki's Spot, I sold these Koala Kisses pack, some lip balm. I sold 50 cases of it. I sold it for $73. My cost on that product that I shipped out was $45. So on that line item, I made 27 bucks for a 37% profit margin. So we can go to the other line items on that same order and say we made 27% on that, 53% on this order to Chelsea Salon. So it gives you very, very granular ability to look at every single line item in an order. And then, of course, I can get less granular and look at over a month. I sold, 1,000 cases of product A, and my profit margin across all the orders was 25%. Or again, I can drill into a specific customer. Am I making money on this customer? Am I making money on this product? Am I making money on a specific product line or category in my business? So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and type those in. Again, we're kind of right at we're at 17 minutes and we try to keep these to 15. So certainly appreciate that. It doesn't look like we have any questions right now. So um, appreciate that. I appreciate everybody stopping by. If you have questions on anything specific, certainly having to do with reporting in general, one of the things I didn't mention in our system is you do have the ability, regardless of how good the reporting is in any system, and it's very good in Wherefour, a lot of times you're going to want something really specific. You do have the ability in our system for every single report to download that report into an Excel format directly, and so you can manipulate it and do other things if you want something really specific out of a report that we don't provide natively. So no questions. So again, appreciate the time. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Reach out directly to me or go to our website at www.wherefour.com if you have any questions. And again, appreciate the time. You'll get the recording in your email shortly and have a great weekend.